Shalom, I'll give all the praise to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, QADASH, the martyrs to that is supposed to great millstone, petitions, the strength of safety, citation, hopeful that's birth, God forth and show. This is going to be a daily verse, Jeremiah 27 reads, O Lord, thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. Thou art stronger than I, and hast prevailed. I am in derision daily, everyone mocking me. So this is Jeremiah basically, complaint, okay? As it's reading in LT, it says, O Lord, you misled me, and I allowed myself to be misled. You are stronger than I am, and you overpower me. Now I am mocked every day. Everyone else at me, right? Because, the reason why Jeremiah has this mindset is because, the Lord said he was going to be with Jeremiah, okay? But Jeremiah, he was in a spiritual low. Okay, we all have spiritual lows. Jeremiah, this is his spiritual low. And in that spiritual low, he was in the flesh, kind of, because what, he was getting mocked, okay? He got put in the stocks, okay? And especially when he was young, so he got in the flesh a bit, right? But that doesn't mean that the Lord didn't deceive him, right? The scripture speaks about that. Should we not receive good and evil from the Lord? Okay, For since I spake, I cried out, I cried violence and spoil, because the word of the Lord was made a reproach unto me and a derision daily. And it says, when I speak, the words burst out violence and destruction. I shout so these messages, for the Lord hath made me a household joke. Right, he was basically he was prophesying, right, against the nation of Israel and against all kingdoms, all right. But of course, Scripture speaks about how we should be made how we should be sheep among the wolves, okay? How the Scripture speaks about how the servants are greater than the masters. If they have persecuted me, they should persecute you. We're not greater than YAHAWAHSHI, okay? YAHAWAHSHI got the ultimate, persecution. Better than what Jeremiah received, right? Better than what all the other prophets received. All of the prophet persecution, what we're going through now can't compare to what YAHAWAHSHI went through. This is about how we have been made fool for the kingdom's sake, right? We're made fool for the kingdom's sake, okay? Reference paraphrases. Then I said, I would not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name. But his word was in my heart as a burning fire, shut up in my bones, and I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay, okay? And he says, but if I say I'll never mention the Lord or speak in his name, his word burns in my heart like a fire. It's like a fire in my bones. I am worn out trying to hold it in. I can't do it. You know, this is why this is what you call the zeal, right? Jeremiah, he had the zeal, right, of the Lord, of this word. Okay, the Spirit of the Lord was in him. You know, the word was burning him like a fire, right? Burns his spirit like a fire. Okay, you know, he can't hold it in, right? And that's a great spirit. That's a good. That's a excellent. That's a great spirit to have. Okay, you know, because the scripture speaks about, you know, you're either gonna be hot or you're either gonna be cold for the Lord, right? And the Lord, he rather you to be hot or cold and not lukewarm. Okay. So it just shows Jeremiah he was hot. He was hot in the spirit. Okay, you know, and this is why he kept prophesying. Okay, you know, Jeremiah 20 is not the end of the book of Jeremiah. You go all, I think you go all the way to Jeremiah 50 something. If I'm mistaken. Yep, but Jeremiah 52. So Jeremiah 20 is not the end of the book of Jeremiah. You know, so we all gonna have that spiritual low, just like Jeremiah did. We gonna always have a spiritual low, right? But the thing is, we have to continue to fight the spirit. Okay, continue to pray. You know, as long as the word is burning us like a fire, you know, the Lord, He's still supping with us, right? The Lord still, you know, dealing with us, right? You know, He haven't just, the Lord said He gonna be with us, you know. The Lord, He gonna be with us, right? You know, and the Lord shows signs that He's with us, right? You know, like 144, or you know, just the Lord, He shows spiritual signs. So I'm gonna close here by giving all the praise to Yahawah. BAHASHAM, QADASH, the next time,